Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Ethereum price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. This is a deep analysis a little bit for Ethereum, and please don't forget to support the channel with a like and subscribe for more updates, and leave your comments and questions below. I would be glad to answer it. So looking at Ethereum on the weekly chart here, we can see, of course, in our parabolic study here, where our parabolic study says that Ethereum has started to look a little bit towards the downside, or at least sideways. After looking here at a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, finished a perfect impulse towards the upside, where we can see, of course, after this a formation of 3 waves corrective. However, after this you want to seek, of course, for something like an impulse in case you want to be bullish. However, inside this wave here, we cannot really count any 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because your wave 5 was very extended, very higher than your wave 3, which is not allowed as a rule in Elliott Waves, that your wave 5 is longer than your wave 3. By all means, this is not a diagonal and cannot be also an impulse, because your wave 4 here, of course, has interfered with your wave 1, which is also not allowed in terms of Elliott Wave. Now, another scenario, it could be that possibly a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and then another 1, 2 perhaps, but here it is a little bit harder to count, of course, 5 waves, where you can see a truncation here for your 5th wave, if you want to count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Your wave 5 is totally truncated, and that means a reversal, and in that case scenario, you seek, of course, for a downside, where you are looking here perfectly has hit your zone 1, invalidating this impulse towards the upside. And by all means, once this impulse has been invalidated, you cannot consider this 1, 2, 1, 2 anymore, because there is no 1, 2 after it, or at least wave 3 in 5 waves towards the upside is not there. Therefore, we are very corrective here still, and we are looking, of course, at A and then B, of course, as 3 waves here, where you are looking to A, B, and a C, possibly, of course, finish truncated. And of course, because it is corrective, it is fine to finish truncated and then move down, of course, for a bigger wave C towards the downside. Now, your wave C, of course, is here a 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are still looking for a wave 5, of course, toward the downside, where possibly we are looking here already for a triangle where you can see an A, B, C, D, E. And since your wave E is towards the upside, therefore, of course, you want to continue towards the downside with a wave 5, of course, without interfering with your wave 1. Of course, now looking at this price action or at this zone, we might see something very different. But on the big view here, you can see, of course, that we might still be very corrective here and look for another drop for Ethereum, and potentially that we go and hit, of course, the 0.78 fib level, which it has been hit every time or every single correction before, and it might repeat itself, of course. So we're gonna see how this is gonna unfold. However, let's zoom in inside this area and see what is going on. So on the daily chart, if we go to the daily chart here, we can see, of course, that we have a little bit different count, because of course we get much more details here. So after that, we are calling this, of course, a W here for a zigzag, and of course a flat or zigzag as well for an X. And we are looking for a W, a Y here, sorry, as another zigzag. However, this W, X, Y, of course, your Y did not reach, of course, yet the W, which is not really likely. And of course, you want to deep a little bit, more in your wave Y to reach at least the price of your W. Therefore, this correction might not have ended, of course, and we are looking here possibly, of course, for a zigzag and then a correction. Possibly here we are looking at another triangle. As you can see, the triangle that we were mentioning on the weekly chart, we can possibly look at this much more closer, where you can see, of course, here an A, B, C, D, and an E towards the upside. Of course, you want to continue towards the downside. Now, if you are looking towards the downside as diagonal, it is preferably, of course, to get a little bit higher here to see kind of a zigzag formation. Now, this zigzag formation even is a little bit, not very nice because as you can see, okay, it might be here a zigzag, also a zigzag, and another zigzag for your triangle. But if you want to seek for an A, B, and a C as a big zigzag, that means your wave C is kind of expanding a diagonal, which is very, very rare to see in Elliott Wave and on a chart. Now, of course, you can see it many times, but it's very rare that it works. Now, if we see higher prices, then there is no other explanation rather than expanding diagonal, right? So if we see higher prices here, it might be a very expanded diagonal. And of course, in that case scenario, you have formed your zigzag, your big zigzag for your wave 2, and then you want to move towards the downside. So this is in case you are looking for a little bit higher prices for Ethereum. This might be, of course, your target. Then, if we want to look here for lower prices, of course, which is a little bit much more potential after looking at this triangle here, we are looking, of course, towards the downside after finishing your wave E here. So if you have an A, B, C, D, E, then you, of course, want to move towards the downside directly after hitting almost as this trend. Of course, it's not necessarily to happen now, but of course, maybe tomorrow. We are on the daily chart, by the way. So yeah, it is very potential that we move down from there. And yeah, besides that, we are considering that this is a diagonal, because don't forget that we are also in a Y. And your wave Y can end also in a corrective structure, and it is not necessarily to be impulsive in 5 waves, which of course makes it much more complicated to analyze, of course, and to predict the price of Ethereum, because of course your wave 5 might be even several structures. It might be here a zigzag, a triangle, and then another zigzag, which is a double zigzag. In that case scenario, of course, anyway, we are looking for a zigzag towards the downside. Whether we are a diagonal, you want to hit a little bit higher and then move in a zigzag. Whether you are already bearish from now after this triangle formation, you want to see another zigzag towards the downside, hitting those fib levels, of course, given for a wave Y between the 0.618 and the 0.78, almost, of course, for Ethereum. And of course, in that case scenario, you are looking almost between the 1,850 and 1,038. So that's it for Ethereum price prediction. Basically, it is not really strong as a Bitcoin. We don't see a formation of 1-2-1-2s here. Probably this was could be an impulse and a 1-2 here. However, this also can be a 1-2 as well. But yeah, we don't see a higher high. Therefore, it is definitely very low possibilities, especially here as well. We cannot see yet an impulse higher than this high. So let's watch and see what's gonna happen. If we go high and then we move down, then possibly we are in a diagonal. And if we move higher than this trend, then possibly we have finished our Y already here in a zigzag. Very short, however, very low possibility. That was it for Ethereum. I hope that you like it. If you did, please press the like button. And don't forget to subscribe for the channel if you didn't yet. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.